Hi guys, I'm Beth, this is Read Remark, and today we are going to talk about The Chrysalis by Deneen. So The Chrysalis by Deneen is one of those hangover books from Freezer Book October. I kind of devoted the month of October to reading nothing but horror books, but the problem is there's so many good ones out there that I just couldn't get to them all. So I just rolled this one over to a little bit later, and I am so glad that I got to it because this book is good, in my opinion. Here's the basic setup. It is I don't know if you would necessarily even classify it as horror. It's a little more sci-fi than it is horror. It follows this young couple named Jenny and Tom. They are a hard-partying, hard-loving couple. They're kind of the disgusting couple that their friends might look at and say, "Ugh, you make me sick, you're so perfect for each other." And they just, they go out drinking every night. He has long hair that he wears in a man bun, all sorts of tattoos. He works as a bartender. When his friend who works in a corporate job is very successful, keeps trying to get him to come work with them, he's like, never, never, ever, 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 never. Instead, he and Jenny just go out drinking and partying. All of a sudden, though, things change. Things change, and I would say that it kind of forces them to do some hardcore adulting, but really, I mean, the definition of what makes an adult is not, it's pretty fluid. I mean, I wouldn't say that a corporate job and a big house necessarily makes one adult, but in their case, I guess that's kind of what has to happen. The studio apartment that they rent, the rent has suddenly gone way up. They can't afford it. They have to figure out some other place to live fast, but they have no money. And so they managed to find this huge house in Jersey that they get for a steal. They get it for a steal. There's a reason for that. Around the same time, Jenny finds out that she is pregnant. So this hard partying lifestyle all of a sudden comes to a screeching halt because they can't go out and get, plastered drunk every night anymore. At least Jenny can't. And then she also loses her job. So suddenly, to pay for this new house and this upcoming baby, Tom has to just suck it up, call his best friend, and get the corporate job. It kills him because the typical 9-to-5 job is so not Tom. It's just not, but he has to suck it up and do it anyway. In fact, he goes to the barber shop, gets his hair cut off. It's almost like Samson losing his powers. When he loses his hair, so does Tom. It's like he almost visibly deflates, because he's kind of cutting off these last vestiges of this hard-partying lifestyle. In the meantime, something supernatural happens. When they very, very first go to the house, the big house that they end up buying to do the house tour, Tom ventures down into the basement to check it out while his wife Jenny is upstairs looking at the other rooms, and he comes across this thing behind an old fridge. It's a chrysalis, but it's not just any sort of chrysalis that you would find, the little ones that the butterflies kind of grow in. This one is huge and pulsating and breathing somehow, and it has this almost like a baby-sized shape inside of it. He touches it, gets an instant high, and it's almost like Lord of the Rings, where he's like, "My precious." It must be his. And also, that was another reason the house must be his. Not just because of the affordability, but because of this strange thing that's instantly addictive down in the basement. So Jenny manages to never see the chrysalis. She rarely ventures down into the basement. When she does, she cuts herself so badly that she decides, enough of that, I'm pregnant, I can't be going down there. And so Tom, meanwhile, goes down there and gets his fix by touching the chrysalis and getting this sort of euphoric high all the time. He tries to resist, he cannot resist the pull of the chrysalis. So as the book goes on, the marriage that was so incredibly strong starts to unravel, but it's hard because Jenny, that's her person. He's her lobster. And so she keeps trying to hold on, and even though he acts more and more monstrous, and really his his personal appearance and mannerisms start to become more and more Gollum-like. Even despite all of that, Jenny still is like, I love you, Tom. Let's figure this out. Come on. She's never been one to really shy away from a challenge, and so she wants to make this work. She can't. She can't. The Chrysalis's powers are too big. So you have these dual things going on in the book. So you have the supernatural thing going on with this Chrysalis, which is having a stronger and stronger hold on Tom and changing him into more and more of a monstrous person. At the same time, you have this huge lifestyle change that he has undergone. You know, got rid of the hard partying lifestyle, got this big behemoth of a house, got this new corporate job that he hates. Has a baby on the way when they really hadn't even really thought about kids before. Just, you know, his life changes, turns on a dime. Never mind that Jenny's life has turned on a dime too, but Tom's life has turned on a dime. And so you have these dual things going on. He's pulled one way by the Chrysalis, pulled the other way by these enormous life changes going on. And so it's almost like this one begets the other sort of thing. You know, maybe he's becoming more monstrous, and a lot of his behavior is explained away by just the changes in his life. Maybe he's traumatized by them, or maybe he's on the verge of a nervous breakdown because he just can't take the thought of having a kid. Now, Brendan Deneen himself, the author of this book, The Chrysalis, is quite an interesting character, because when I looked him up on Goodreads, I saw that he has quite a diverse range of book genres that he writes. He does a lot of Flash Gordon comic books. He also writes some children's books, and then he has a couple of adult horror books out there. This one is definitely on the adult end. But it's very interesting and kind of cool to see this person who has such a range of literary talents. All right, so really good book. Highly recommend it. Maybe it's horror. Really, it's more like science fiction. More disturbing and creepy than it is scary, but still a hell of a read. I think you'll enjoy it. I sure did. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, just let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, as always. Bye. But it's the Chrysalis.